Hello, Star Wars CCG players, fans, and folks with nothing to do, better to do on a Friday night. Sorry, just telling everyone on Twitch who may be following along, or GEMP who may be following along. So this is the Star Wars CCG. Alright, let me log in so I can actually do stuff in chat here. Hold on. This is the Star Wars CCG Beezer Bowl Finals. This is Brian Avery, who won the in-person part of the Beezer Bowl. Versus Will Tarbox, who played the online portion. Will went 4-2 and won the online portion via strength of schedule. I know I also went 4-2 and I lost a super quick game to Will. I was not expecting a strong... wasn't expecting some of the stuff he got on the start and just went, oh, I'm done. And, he played very well. More power to him. Will's a local guy who's gotten very good at the game. Plays a lot of retro events online. He won Bespin Regionals earlier this year, playing 0 Hour and something. And just, very nice guy. Very, very good guy to play against. And always up for a good time. He's going to be playing against Brian Avery, who is frodolight on GEMP and the forums. Will Tarbox is SWCCG2M. Brian Avery won the Beezer Bowl at his home office. Sorry, just checking in. So Brian Avery won the Beezer Bowl, the retro event in person. And Will, as stated, won the online part of it. Beezer Bowl is something frodolight, I know, and some of this got talked about in Holo Theater, which is available on the PC's YouTube page. You can go to YouTube, click on the Holo Theater, with Brian Avery. Brian Avery is frodolight on GEMP and won Guest of the Year for his showing. I mean, this was an awesome episode. I had a lot of fun being part of. Brian's a very cool guy. And so he decided and, came up with this event all on his own. It's being hosted at his property in East Hampton, Connecticut. He is doing, I don't know what decks they're playing, dude. Like, I'm sorry, someone in chat was just like, oh, do we have a deck list here? Can I unlock the chat box? Alright, I don't know why the chat box isn't working, so I guess we're just going to do this without anyone being able to see chat. Sorry, so Jared asked if we know how many Beezers are in Brian's deck. I don't know what's in either player's deck. Like, I know Will suggested that he should play something interesting for the dark side. Oh, so we got Bring It Before Me from Will. This may be the same deck he played earlier today. I know Bring It Before Me was pretty popular. And Frodolight's going with, Brian is going with a Careful Planning Obi's Hut for something. I'm Obi Tashi Station, so just trying to go with the Obi to Tashi Station, activate a bazillion. I guess I don't know what he's playing. This is that's the fun part of doing these streams. Sometimes is just like I don't know what dude's playing. Like let's find out. Let's sit and watch. So we'll see. Will starting pretty standard start. IAO, Imperial Arrest Order, mobilization points, and oppressive enforcement. This is obviously Premier to Death Star 2 format. So you saw a lot of Imperial Arrest Order and Insurrection. All of the games today on the online portion. I assume we saw a similar amount in this. Will's only activating 4 his first turn, so he can't really go contest Tashi Station right now, but I assume he'll drop some activation, get things rolling, and try and go after him. Will just said in the chat on Gabby, he's like, I don't know what you're doing here. And yeah, that makes 2 of us, Will. I don't know what his plan is either, and that's what makes it fun, honestly. Like, and that's what makes commentating like this fun. Is like I don't know what the plan is. I'm assuming it's going to be something like let's drop a cheap Obi to the hut, move him to Tashi Station, activate a bunch next turn, and hope. But we'll find out. I mean, it'll be an interesting and quick out of commissions. I played against a deck that played a bunch of those today. It was kind of obnoxious. Like, he put Mara out of play twice, and fine, I won't deploy Mara. We'll see what happens. I don't necessarily expect to see a lot of Beezers here. I think Brian might have given up on his girl instead in an effort to play a semi-competitive, although definitely interesting deck. This was not necessarily a great era for going effectless. I mean, you had some decks that could do it okay. You know, Hunt Down or Thorn Remains with careful planning for the farm and nudges was not a terrible deck in the era. It definitely had its players and its ways of doing things, but it wasn't necessarily the best deck in the format either, although the format lent itself to there being so many options, which is sometimes why it's referred to as the golden age of Star Wars. And as someone who's played through it and played through a lot of eras of Star Wars, I mean, my first tournament was right after Dagobah was released, so like I played in some bad eras. It was a pretty good one. There was a lot of ability to activate, you know, the IAO, Insurrection, Imperial Arrest Order, Mold Point staging areas definitely opened things up, but it wasn't a crazy activation like we kind of see sometimes here, or feel like we see with lots of High Destiny interrupts, pulling locations, etc. Like, it was still a little bit slower game. You know, like now I'd be real uncomfortable as Will throwing, oh, I'll just throw Palpatine down and hope nothing bad happens. Like, in this era, this is a different way. So Frodo's going Chewie with Blaster Rifle to Tashi Station. That's gutsy. I expect Will has somebody who will make him pay for that. Like, Chewie doesn't do anything by himself. I don't love that play by Brian. I mean, let's see what he does here, but if you don't at least have another ability 2 guy to draw Battle Destiny, like I bring him before me, wants to jump you, wants to win battles. You're power 6 and no Destiny. Like, you're just gonna okay. Gosh. I wish there was a way to shut off chat in here, because that's gonna be very frustrating. So we'll see if we can get that stopped. That's going to be frustrating if it continues. So we'll see what's going on here. Frodo's just waiting for a second with, not sure what else he's doing here. Like, my guess is there's some talking and such going on in the background. And he just leaves one and draws. I hope he's sitting on a barrier. I mean, I'm sure if he Will's sitting on Sense Alter in that deck, like, I just don't like that play. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There's no way for me to say it nicely. Like, I don't think that was a good play, and I think Will's gonna make him pay for it sooner rather than later. Frodo loses the signal from hand. Okay, not sure what he was intending to. Like, maybe if he's got all the effects he wanted to play, but I don't know. Or maybe his hand is just really good and he knows what's in his force and the signal's the least impactful card, but you don't have any effects on table. That would let you go get one. Feels like that might not be a bad card to grab. See, Will throw down the Cloud City Docking Bay. Hit some Docking Bays in opening hand. Like, that's an interesting hand, but I expect this is somebody's got to come down on Chewie. Like, I can't imagine Will Will had no one in hand. Holy cow. That, apologize, that gave me the hiccups. I was so surprised. That was not... Yeah, chat says Frodo, Brian dodged a bullet, and he absolutely did. That was not a... I hope he's got somebody to back up Chewie, because you dodged a bullet once, but there is approximately a 0% chance you're going to be able to dodge it twice. Will just drew up to 15 cards and leaves himself 4 force. Will is coming at that furry Wookiee here in a second. So Frodo activates a whole bunch. I mean, he's only got 5 cards in hand. He does have 14 force, though. Yeah, that was almost Batmouse-esque in its luck. Although, I mean, Batmouse... I played Batmouse in the last round, and he did not get nearly as lucky as expected against me. He missed a swing on Vader. He had to peel like 11 to keep a Luke alive. It was not the way he wanted the game to go. So, Batmouse luck isn't always there, just, 98% of the time. Oh, look, chat's somehow working now. I don't know what I did, but I'm glad I fixed it. Thank you for renewing your Prime, Zeeks. That's awesome. Will loses Battle Order from hand. I don't know that that's super impactful. I feel like that's probably not necessarily going to come into play here. They're both going to activate a metric ton, and there's only going to be a couple battlegrounds really that are going to get used. Yep, this is some Premier Dust Star 2, the Beezer Bowl Retro event. This is the finals. The winner of the in-person event, frodolight, Brian Avery, the Holo Theater Guest of the Year this year, versus Will Tarbox, SWCCG2M, who won the online event that happened in conjunction with it. This was the brainchild of Tommy, Large Porg, and Brian, who suggested it, put it into practice, made it happen, and this is an awesome idea, awesome way to go about doing things. I'm super happy all of this worked out the way it did, and we're able to get some cards in, get some stuff going on. Yep, Will is the Bestman Region Facebook group admin, also the current Bestman Regional champion, and all around pretty decent guy. Will was, when I came back, Will had definitely been active and playing, and got out and played some games with him live, just kind of get my feet wet and stuff, and good guy. So I see Biggs coming to hang out with Chewie. I mean, Frodo just saves some force and doesn't draw over 12, fearing the Monarch that is unquestionably in Will's deck. Not entirely sure what there's a Yoda stew. Like, I mean, Chewie and Biggs are not scaring anyone. They're certainly not going to stop Will from attacking if he's got a couple guys. Like, Chewie might make forfeit 0, but yeah, and there's Lord Vader. So like, Chewie doesn't even get a +1 when firing his blaster rifle. Decipher did. And there's the barrier. Like, when you look at Chewie, Decipher absolutely did him dirty with this. I'm not a fan of the way they did it, so we'll see the sense being played on the barrier, and Brian cancels it with control. That was, and yeah, so, and the plus generation, and another sense. So Will's calling Brian dirty for playing the control on the sense, and then Will is immediately dropping a second sense because apparently Will doesn't know. We are going old school, a little sense alter where we've got sense, control, sense, alter, and now it's all going through there. So Brian is going to lose the sense and the alter. And that Destiny 1 will go through and cost him the barrier as well. He did empty Will's hand, though, of all of those things. So, like, if he's got another barrier or some sort of other fanciful goodness, we could see it. I did enjoy the little, the little remnants of the sense, alter, sense, control, and Bith shuffle to shuffle his already shuffled reserve deck. All right, whatever. It's cycle of 5. I'm in this era. That was a borderline playable card. Like, tracking was a thing you wanted to worry about. And Will's got Tarkin as well. So now Frodolight's basically. If I see a you are beaten come out, I'm just going to cry a little bit for Frodo. Like, Will is definitely playing this well and super tacked, so Frodo's going careful planning to activate a bunch, which is cute, but relatively unimpactful, I think. And he draws the 0. Well, I mean, Tarkin could cancel that if he wants to. Tarkin does not. That was live by floating location, die by floating location. That's part of why you don't see locations get floated a whole lot anymore, is stuff like that can just be such a killer and can just be such a, feels bad. Will's like, I'm going to swing at Chewie, and draws a 7 because of Lord Vader adding 1 and a 4. Well, there's the you are beaten. So as long as he's not playing 2, Brian's at least going to be able to do something here. Brian's got to shoot at Tarkin. Like, you're not drawing at plus anything. Vader's defense value 8. You got no shot at Vader. You cannot draw a 9. So you shoot at Tarkin and hope, I think. Yep, so shooting at Tarkin and hoping. You really need to draw 4 or higher to make him, And force field to cancel the targeting. All right, sorry, Frodo. You are losing this battle. You're stacking 1. You're losing your boy Biggs. There's not much that can be done here about any of this. And all right, so he only draws a 1 for Battle Destiny. That's actually, I mean, it could have been worse, but I don't think it's super impactful. Biggs forfeits for 5. You're down 4. I mean, I guess if he had drawn high, because he's going to cancel this Battle Destiny draw, that would have been solid. Like, if he had drawn high enough, he could have overflowed him for a little bit, but not a super not a super early thing that needs to go on. Like, problem is, how does frodolight respond to this with only 7 force? I mean, he's got 3 saves, so he'll have 10 force to work with, only 7 cards in hand. And Vader plus Tarkin's a bad dude. Like, that's a tough pair to go after. Because they're canceling Destiny. Vader's immune to less than 6, defense value 8. Swings, each of his swings are +1. Like, Vader's a rough customer, and you kind of need to do something along the lines of a like a weapon lev, something to slow him down a little bit, because Vader Tarkin's a tough nut to crack. Now, the upside for Frodo, if he's running Luke, they're also stuck there. Like, Will's not playing Ellis unless he's got the Spaceport docking bay, which he very well might. I mean, it would be a little bit surprising if he didn't, but if he doesn't have that Spaceport docking bay, they aren't leaving Tatooine, and you can just start running Luke at everybody else. Now, that being said, Frodo does need to deploy a Luke. Like, at this point, you might need to just throw Luke onto Vader and say thanks. Let's see what, and Frodo just goes straight to draw, which means he's going to eat 3 at the start of his turn. Did Frodo pull a Matt Sokol and just not put in Luke? Like, that's unfortunate. I got to see something change here, because Will is definitely in the driver's seat here, and this is a strong deck. So we see Wedge, Master Wedge leave, along with an R2 in red 5, and a Luke with lightsaber. So he had a Luke in reserve deck, he just didn't. Alright, not sure what the plan was there. I mean, this is old school. This is the retro format that Brian and them play a lot. Yeah, that's very possible. It's just Brian set up and ran everything. He's done, a ton of work getting all this stuff ready to go. I'm sure his brain is fried. The fact that he went 4-2 and won the live event is, speaks highly of him. I know, speaking from experience, trying to win an event that you're running and doing all the planning for and taking all the, pairings and everything else can just be real difficult. So, thanks go out to him. Big props. It's a tough road to hoe. We see another Chewie blaster rifle and Luke go along with General Calrissian go off the top to the drains. This is Brian appears to be playing something interesting to try out. Will's is a finely oiled machine that's got, an answer for almost everything. It's a solid deck. Looks like he missed with the arrest order pull. Honestly, I assume the only arrest order pull he's got left in there is the Spaceport docking bay if he's got it. I feel like he should have it, because otherwise you just cost yourself the ability to turn Luke. Like, you just, at this point, you throw Luke onto Vader and say thanks for losing a force. But, I mean, Will just threw down Mara to hang out with Palpatine, and is now drawing some. I'm a little surprised by that move, simply because, like, you really want her to have her saber. If you didn't have her saber in reserve, like, don't deploy her, but Will may not have had a lot of other options and didn't necessarily want to leave Palpatine alone. Like, you saw the Luke with lightsaber hit the lost pile. Just sending Luke at Palpatine a bunch can get real frustrating real quick. We see Frodo throw down Mos Eisley. expect to see another card here in a minute. Oh, there we go, doing Bring Him Before Me. Deploying Luke from Lost. I don't know where he's going to go. You got to send him to Mos Eisley, yeah. And that's fine. Like, what are you doing with him, though? Like, and Saber proficiency on a character with no immunity. All right. Okay, let's see something happen, because I'm not a... I don't mind lightsaber proficiency. I just don't think it's going to be super impactful right here. Looks like we lost a bunch of viewers. I hope it's not me. Hope everybody's enjoying watching the stream, and just, you know, this is what it is. So Frodo's going with Premier Han Solo on Gold Squadron 1. I don't understand any of that combo. I'm just sticking with I'm not sure what the thought process is with the deck. Like, let's use the bad Falcon and the bad Han and see what happens. All right, well, let's use the bad Falcon and the bad Han and see what happens. Does Han at least draw Battle Destiny on there? Yep. One pilot named Falcon adds 2 maneuver and draws 1 Battle Destiny if not able to otherwise. So he makes it maneuver 7, which isn't terrible. And he does draw Battle Destiny. He's got no immunity on that one, but, well... Why do you make me play cards that do stuff? There's a lot of cards I don't know what they do anymore. That's why I check them and read them and go, what does that do again? So normally I can hide it a little bit and Dan talks over it while he streams it and I look at cards on my own. Like, what does that do? And then I sound all smart when I tell you what it does. Like, I remember that card. No, I don't. There's a lot of cards I don't know what they do, and I've definitely, today there's definitely a lot of spots where I'm like, let me zoom that in and read it and figure out what I need to do about this. We see Will just go straight into drains. He activates a 14 and save 3. Goes straight in, drain for 2 at Tashi Station. Luke staying far away because apparently he no longer needs the power converters he was going to go pick up. Loses nothing yet. Let's see what Brian chooses to lose. A lot of people jumping in and out of the chat here. Loses an R2 in Red 5 and a Lando in Millennium 5. I don't know what Brian is playing. I don't understand these card choices. Drain a 1. At the end of Docking Bay, Gold Leader and Gold 1. I like Gold Leader and Gold 1. Like, there's a lot of space in this deck for Brian hasn't put a system out yet, but we'll see. It's an interesting thing. So there's Will dropping Mara Jade's Lightsaber on Mara. So now he's draining for 2 and 2. And Bosk in the Tooth against the Han in the Falcon, who does get a Battle Destiny, but doesn't get any immunity or anything else. Maybe he's going to punch it. Punch it to be cute. Let's see, where is it? Adjust. I don't see any responses. That's not good. Oh, there we go. We get the spiral as a response. So, all right. And a sense on the react. And nothing else. Sense on the react hits. Spiral's going to stay right in Brian's hand where he wants it to be. Well, that's not the way Brian saw that one going. Like, Brian's like, in my head, that worked. So, And Will draws a 3 for Battle Destiny, putting him up to a 10. Brian, let's see if he draws a 5 or higher and avoids the stack, if nothing else. Brian draws a 4, so he cannot avoid the stack. Loses the battle 10 to 9. So he's going to stack a card on Insignificant Rebellion before he loses. I assume Han Solo and Brian and Will loses Bosk in the Tooth, which he's perfectly content to have lost, to lose here. Like, that's not a concern of his at all. He's fine with making that trade. Brian chooses to stack from reserve deck. He has no idea what he just stacked there. We will see if he... we'll never actually see it, so we don't know what it is, and neither does he, and that's all good. So Brian loses Han Solo. He'll have Luke to drain at most Icely for 2, but this is not the way he wants this to go. And Will says, you know what, I'm going to spread out. I'm going to do a little bit more damage, and moves Mara alone to the Cloud City docking bay. Makes sense. I think Will is seeing what Brian's kind of done and saying, you know what, I can play a little bit risky, fast and loose. Like, Brian's got 5 cards in hand and 9 force. Like, what is he really going to do to me? And he's going to drain with Luke here, and I bet he's going to get hit with Lost in the Wilderness, or Always Thinking with Your Stomach. Just because that feels like the play. He drains and add ones. Maybe not. Nope, Will does not. He loses the security precautions and Marjade, the Emperor's Hand, to the drain of 2. Security precautions, definitely not super impactful. He doesn't need the that 1 force. The Mara, he's already got 1 on table. I don't know that she's going anywhere. She's really best with her lightsaber. So we see Wedge, Red Squadron leader, as a pilot on the Falcon. And are we going to see someone else? Please tell me we're going to see someone else. Play someone else there, Frodo. Please, Mr. Frodo. This is... Please, Mr. Frodo, play someone else. Let someone else carry the burden of the ring. I don't know where I'm really going with this. It's going slow, and I'm filling time because I spent most of the day talking and streaming and had a blast, but my mind gets a little goofy by the end of these things, so y'all get Garrett just kind of riffing on stuff because I want to keep I don't want dead silent air, but I only have so many interesting things to say. There's a lot of stuff as you're watching this, I said, and Frodo just picks a few up. I talked about how Brian, frodolight, put this all together, is running this big event, planning it all, sourcing it all, coming up with the idea, doing all of the stuff he did. And that was awesome and a great way to go about stuff. Yeah, and it's, the computer doesn't talk back yet. That's a plus. But like, some of that was supported also by the PC. Like, when this idea was for doing this online in-person combo event, to just say, hey, the people who couldn't be in Connecticut for whatever reason for the Beezer Bowl, let's come and hang out, was a spectacular idea. And Large Porg, Tommy S., because I'm not going to butcher his last name, and Brian suggested this, came up with this, Jared ran with it, offered some different prize support. Like, this is a really cool way to do things, and it's all done by volunteers. It's all done by people looking at it and going, hey, how can I make the game better? How can I make people have more fun? Because at the end of the day, like Chris Kelly says, we're playing a game to have fun. So let's have fun. We see a drain of 2. Frodo loses a Gold Squadron 1 from hand. What? Yeah, Frodo loses another bad Falcon from hand and needs to lose one more force. Also, Rogue One started the idea of doing it. I was giving you all the credit, Tommy. So, all right, Rogue One, thank you for coming up with this and, beating me in the event, jerk. So it was a lot of fun. And it's a great idea. This whole thing has just been fun. And Frodo loses Kashyyyk from hand as well. And it's just, there's so many people who do so many things that, aren't always well represented or noticed. And, this was awesome. This was a great idea. And it was just fun. We lose the Cantina and Hal Auckland from reserve to the Draina 2 and another out of commission, which just got grabbed earlier. So I don't think Brian's too sad about the out of commission going anywhere. Will's got 10 cards in hand and 20 force to work with. Don't feel like this is going to end well for Brian. But this the whole idea of the event, there's Zuckuss Mist Hunter just because. The whole idea of this event was awesome. Like I said, Dan and I are streaming the live event tomorrow, the in-person Beezer Bowl Open event. Dr. Evazan jumped on to Zuckuss Mist Hunter as a pilot because Will says nothing's worth doing that's not worth overdoing. And let's see how this ends for Brian. But I don't think Brian's going to go out with a whimper here. I think this is not going to be a bang. Just awesome. And Brian's trying again with the spiral. I will get this through. It's not actually going to help things, but I will get it through. Will with the barrier. Nope, you will not. Fine, I'll let you react, but he still can't play in the battle. Honestly, that doesn't hurt Brian as much as you would think. He wasn't going to get a Battle Destiny out of this anyways. That was just going to be power. Something was going to be stuck there at the end of the battle. So this way he can do all this stuff. Oh, the artwork that Brian was showing on Hollow Theater was amazing, and I'm legitimately serious FOMO at not going and not being able to go. This is an awesome event, awesome idea, and I'm very sad I wasn't able to go and have fun. And I definitely like to go places, but I kind of like to drive, and when I looked at it, Connecticut's a little bit of a haul for me. So hopefully I'll see you guys all in Indianapolis for the Eclipse event. I know we kind of chatted with Frodo about starting to come to these things, and yeah, Tommy's dropping in chat and just thanking everybody, and that's awesome. There's so many people who are just I won't say underappreciated, but definitely can use every bit of thanks and praise and whatnot that they get. Batmouse took on and picked up and ran this event with just a couple days worth of notice and did an awesome job getting it going, keeping us on pace. It was run with 30-minute timers, which definitely, I saw a few games go real close to time or time. Apologize. And I don't necessarily want to see that as an every time thing, but doing this in conjunction with the live event, oddly enough, the live event played slower. So yeah, that was both Brian and Will be getting a Endor Lightside Uncommon Uncut sheet. That would be the sheet that has Beezer in it. Beezer is an Endor Uncommon, and so you're getting the sheet with multiple Beezers on it to hang up. And that's just kind of a cool thing. And again, that's like Jared and the volunteers just going, all right, I can do something interesting. Let's do this. And that's such an amazing attitude, such an amazing way to go about doing things. As we see Leia with gun go on to the Bad Falcon. That still only puts you at 6 ability, Frodo. I say this like he's listening. I know he's not, but it should. So, yeah, I don't know what happens with all the online folks in the t-shirts. I honestly just sort of, I have fun, and when stuff shows up in my mailbox from JNAP, I'm happy. Like, I don't know what all we're missing. And we see Lord Vader move over, or Lord Vader had moved over. We see Frodo move Luke into him, go into move phase. What are you doing, Brian? I don't know what the thought is here, and when I can't understand what you're trying to do, I struggle to commentate a little bit, because I know it's hard to commentate when you can't plan for what's going to happen, because, like, Brian's playing 2 Bad Falcons plus a Lando in Falcon, and I don't know what else is in his deck to know what he's got going on. So I'm just sort of watching and waiting, and Brian's timer he's already 15 minutes behind Will, because I think he's kind of trying to figure out the same thing. Like, all right, what is my shot? I mean, Jared, this one's been over for 3 or 4 turns, I think, unless Brian comes up with a real creative way to change what he's doing, because this is not working. Like, I don't know what to say here. And someone's like, I just don't understand. Like, he dropped Leia. Tarkin was alone. You drop Leia on Tarkin, you shoot Tarkin, possibly hit him, and theoretically try and, push some overflow. And I don't know what the plan is here. We'll see. Honestly, Frodo could just be rolling with look, it's been a really long day. I've had a whole bunch of fun. Let's just play a deck full of mains and see what happens. And I mean, I've heard dumber ideas. Look, I'll be honest. This is you hit the point and be like, look, I get a Beezer sheet. I ran this whole event. I'm tired. I want to go hang out with my friends, and like, why not? So loses a bit shuffle in a sense off the top to the drain at Cloud City. We'll see a drain of 1 at Tashi Station, and an altar spins off the top. I mean, I assume he's going to drain for 1 at the Endor Docking Bay. I assume he's got to drain with Vader, or is he terrified of a Lost in the Wilderness coming out? Nope, there's going to be a drain of 4 from Vader. That's unpleasant. And yep, Brian has no answer for that. That's going to sting. There goes a Hyper Escape, Tunnel Vision, Yoda Stew, and sorry, so I kind of understand what Brian's deck was designed to do. It's get a bunch of force at Tashi Station, throw out a bunch of mains. It doesn't work. Like, it doesn't have a win condition. Like, your best case scenario is stack up some guys with saber proficiency and hope to drain, maybe, like, and then floating a bunch of locations that hopefully you can get out and make something happen. Like, yeah, it just doesn't really work. So now we're going to try and hyper escape to Kifix. I assume we're going to see a sense as Will first grabs that with Hell to Pay. Does he have a sense or a way to cancel it, or is Brian going to get away with a... Oh, Brian is going to send them running and cancel the battle. And now I'm assuming Will's just going to follow over to fix. Like, and I don't see any reason to do anything other than that. Like, all right, we'll just follow him over and let it go. So that's is what it is. Let's see where. Do that. Yep. So he slides over, and that is what it is. So. What the heck? No, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, hit the wrong button there. And Will's going to Janice and just lose a card, and that's fine. He'll live with what he's doing there. Not sure why my Streamlabs is kind of going nuts all of a sudden. Alright, there we go. We're back in chat. Alright, so hopefully I know, Tommy, if you're around there and listening, if the guys are still in there, just tell them not to be jumping into chat. Like, this is still a tournament. Like, let Will and Brian concentrate on their play, not have a bunch of, bunch of chat messages popping up. You gotta look at it and be like, oh, hold on, do I need that? All right, so we see Brian going with Obi with lightsaber. Let's see, last gasp. Take out Lord Vader, see what happens. I'm a little surprised Will doesn't already have the circle is now complete and just be like, all right, let's go. So we'll see. Oh, there's Will's circle is now complete. That's actually what he, how he ended our game. He circled Vader, or he circled Obi, and I just went, ah, that's fine. This is not going the way I wanted it to, and called it a day quickly. And Brian's still not getting much going through. Like, he's got one card left in hand. He's got 9 force. I mean, if he's got a dude, you could theoretically go jump Tarkin and I have no idea what the chat meant there. I'm just gonna... Okay, I didn't know if Obi-Wan was in around there or not. So that's, I think Will's probably figured out that the game's basically over as long as he doesn't do anything extraordinarily stupid. And since I don't expect him to, this is probably, this is going to be over shortly. I think it's, Will's just pouring out damage, and Frodo's in a bad way. Like, I don't know what that last card in his hand is, but I feel like it's probably not super impactful. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what all happens. I know, and Frodo just drawing a few. I'm assuming he'll probably like Will's gonna save up some and pick some up, and or Brian is. I'm not sure what the plan is here. I just don't see I don't see a win condition for Frodo here. This is sort of the best example I can give of a deck that has good cards in it. I mean, he's got good You know, he went with basically, hey, I'm going to put in Sense Alter, I'm going to put in good cards, I'm going to activate a bunch of force, and didn't follow through to the end. How am I going to win the game? Because that's kind of what he's stuck at right now, is he figured out how to activate a bunch of force, how to play, you know, good cards and mains, but he didn't figure out the what do I need to do to win the game part of the equation. And he's going to get drained for 2, 6, 7, 9 force. And that's going to be rough. I see Obi-Wan in chat complaining about Circle is Now Complete. I mean, that card's been around since Premiere. Everyone knew what it did. That's why Tatooine Utility Belt was in a lot of Premiere decks back in the day, because lightsaber proficiency only made you power +3 during battles. Tatooine Utility Belt makes you power +1 all the time, which meant you tied Vader on circle duels, which meant you didn't snap lose your Obi-Wan, which was an important thing to consider. Drains for 2 at the East platform. Brian loses squadron assignments from hand, and red 3 from hand. Okay. Like, I don't, red 3's terrible. I mean, he had bigs, but red 3's, why? Why would you do that? I see a drain of 4 at Obi-Wan's hut. Like, ouch. That's, I mean, this may be a little preemptive, but congratulations, Will, on your crushing victory here. I mean, this is comfortable win right now. Frodo loses the Grimtash, so he did have one, just didn't have it when he needed it super early to mess with Will's start. Gold 6, which I think is Hal Auckland's ship that adds one to the drain at Kashyyyk or something. If to play to Kashyyyk, may retrieve a force, and then Hal does something while he's piloting it. And there's Jack Porkins and red 6 as well. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of, he just went with a lot of good cards and some good interrupts and said, hey, this will work, and didn't have a plan for what happens if your opponent disrupts you, what happens if you know, how do you win the game? If you're planning to win the game by draining for 3 or 4 because you activate 20, that's not going to work most games. Like, you got to be able to do something with that activation, and Brian just didn't have the right setup to make that happen. Brian loses a Luke from hand. Like, he had like 4 Lukes in this deck. Like, that's just a little cray-cray. A little bit too much. So, see a final drain of 2 here at the end of our landing platform. And Will's been kind of stacking his cards, so he knows what that bottom card is with Janmis. But yeah, the timer differential's 20 minutes. And that sounds about right. We've done a lot of sitting and talking. So I don't know if this is the same deck he played in real life. I know there was talk that he could change decks. So I don't know that this necessarily was the same deck. We'll see what it was. I mean, it's got some legs. Like, I could see games winning. Wow. It feels interesting. So we'll see how this works. I would not have put this as an undefeated deck. Well, like I said, it can activate a bunch, but it doesn't seem to have a lot of answer for, you know, something like Bring It Before Me that just drops on you and says, all right, come play. And there's Forlom with Gun on Zuckus to add a Battle Destiny up there. So yeah, this is about about it. All right, so yeah, apparently there's 6 people still on there. So Frodo is trying to, on the edge, lay a... I mean, I don't know if he's trying to go out of the battle. Like, the spiral's still there. And that was not the destiny he wanted to draw. Yeah, I think Frodo's just kind of conceding this one here. I mean, the way that got played out is... that feels like, well, I'm done. Let's go out with a bang. Or sort of a whimper. And Will draws a total of 8 for Battle Destiny, putting him at 23-7. So Frodo's down 16. I mean, the 2 ships forfeit for 14, I guess. Like, if you want, I think there's 14. Spiral's a 5-7. I know. I've looked at that card many a time. Yep. Gold Shredded one's a 3-7. And we stack a card from hand. Or he's got to stack a card from insignificant. Doesn't... going from use pile face down. Scotland Grell's enjoying the... oh, he's losing force and he doesn't know what they are. And Scott's trying to figure out how to start this with Eyes in the Dark and just... No one knows what's going on. That would be an interesting deck. I don't think it'd be good, but it'd be interesting. So... Yep, and we do see Spiral and Gold Squadron 1, and then Noble Sack, and out of nowhere, Brian's got 2 force left, and Will's just hoping he can get a t-shirt, and G Superstar, who's definitely in Connecticut right now with him, are saying no. So maybe he gets one. And Will just draws 1, loses Lord Vader. Not a big deal. And we'll see. Frodo's got 2 force and no hand, so he can't even play a last gasp Beezer in front of Vader to make something for the lulz. I did not see a Beezer hit the lost pile. That's a little unfortunate. So Will's trying to sort out getting his t-shirt. Just throw your address in the chat right now. There definitely won't end poorly for you, Will. And Brian draws 1, leaving 1 force active. Are you going to draw up, or are you going to force him to drain you out? And he says, nope, I'm going to force you to drain me out. I appreciate it. He's grasping and clawing at this. And Will says, yep, that's cute how you grasp and claw. Now lose the last 2 force you have and end this game. Loses the Obi-Wan from force pile. And Will is the Beezer Bowl retro champion. This was an awesome event. This has been a fun day. I'm glad I hope everyone had fun. I know I did. Thank you all for watching. Be ready for tomorrow morning at, well, I guess starting at noon Eastern. Dan Tartaglione and myself will be on the call for the live event in Connecticut. And it'll be a fun, hopefully a fun day. Definitely going to be a little more laid back, I think, than some of the live streams. Large Porg saying we'll see you tomorrow at noontime in the parking lot. So if you aren't on Slack and didn't get a chance to see Large Porg introducing himself, Slack does not speak Boston, and his This is Large Porg came out as This is La Polka. And now I kind of feel like that's what he just needs to be called forever, is La Polka. So thank you all. I hope you all had fun. I hope you had a blast. I definitely had a great day. Thanks to the PC. Thanks to everyone. Congratulations to Will for taking it down. He played very well. I'm going to end the stream and go hang out with my wife and kids. See y'all.